guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go on an update to a video I covered about a year and a half ago, which is titled, Wife Regrets Asking for Poly Relationship After Husband Gathers Proof of Cheating and Has Her Served. And guys, this video which I'm talking about, I first covered that back in May of 2024, and then I did a follow-up video shortly after. And as a recap, because it's been a year and a half, that's about the guy who got married ridiculously young. He got married ridiculously young because he grew up in a religious cult. He didn't say what kind or which, but basically a Christian religious cult, and pretty much was conditioned to do things like this. You know, no SCX for marriage, get married really young, have lots of kids, that type of thing. And got married to the wrong girl, too young, and it was a total disaster. Not to mention the fact that after getting married, he discovered she was no virgin. And she gained a lot of weight, spent a lot of his money. It was chaos. Well, finally he was done when she, like a lot of gals, proposed an open relationship or a polyamorous type of thing. He got rid of her, and he moved away from the cult and all that. And it was all about him, what he went through, how he became R-pilled, got rid of her, and started on his own. And in the update, he was, started his own business in security installation. The guy was finally able to save some money. Imagine that. All sorts of things. So here we are a year and a half later, and he's letting me know how he's doing, because I know a lot of you watched it back then. And in case you happen to forget what it was all about, I'll post a link to his 2 videos in the comment section as well as on the description. But before I get into his update here, real quick, I got a quick email from one of my female subscribers. It's pretty funny. Her husband turned her on to the channel. She likes it a lot. And she's going to write in a little experience she had with some feminists and making the point why, while you can't judge a book by its cover, if you see a gal that happens to look like a man-hating feminist, haircuts don't lie, don't go out of your way to help them, and this story will prove that point. So real quick, she says, Hi SSM. My husband got me into your channel years ago. I thought I'd share a funny story that happened a few years back. My friend and I, who are both mid-30s females at the time, were both pretty strong, and we were going shopping and saw a couple of what we thought were teenage boys with their cars stuck in a ditch on the side of the road, facing a pretty busy street, and they looked miserable. We are both moms, and we know men don't get help very often, so we doubled back to help them. It wasn't exactly wedged in the ditch, just the front passenger wheel wasn't enough, so they couldn't go it very far. We parked, walked up to them, and to my horror, we discovered that these were not teenage boys, but liberal lesbians. She says, I'm actively anti-feminist, and my friend was back and forth on it as she had a son. Still, we decided to help them. Okay. So by the looks of them, she says they were batting for the other team, but guess what? They're very likely feminists too. But she's going to help them. Well, she's not the only one. Well, we were making good work of it, but things really got going when 2 separate men saw 4 women trying to get the dang car out. They took pity on us and came over. The girls barely helped at that point, except one finally getting behind the wheel and let the man, my friend and I, get out. Or get it out. The guys got into it in under a minute. We've been trying for about 10 minutes. Yeah, if you're going to have 4 girls trying to push a freaking car out of a ditch, and you get a couple guys are going to be obviously going to be able to help a lot more. Well, as soon as the car was out, I high-fived the guy beside me. He looked surprised but accepted. As I'm doing this, the girls up front start yelling, "Hell yeah, girl power," and I felt like they dumped ice down my back. Girl power? It's the guys that came over and got him out of the ditch. The other guy turned away looking like he regretted stopping by. I tried to thank him, but he clearly didn't hear me over the idiocy. I felt bad for him, and the whole thing made me feel so gross. See? Exactly. No thanks whatsoever to the guys that came over to help, but to you girls, yes, of course. Well, they never once acknowledged the guys. No hellos, no clarification. All communication was to me and my friend. Well, they probably wanted to sleep with you, too. I couldn't stop tripping about the fact that one of the women's eyes never even went their way. They didn't say thank you to the men either, just us and each other. See you guys? Well, we got back in the car without saying very much, and no shit watched these 2 idiots almost go back in the same freaking ditch. Women and machines. I make a point to hold doors, make small talk, help people, etc. when I see men in the wild. Men really are invisible to feminists. I know that's not much to the story, but I hope you get a kick out of it, and maybe it makes it as a short or an intro. Maybe that poor guy will hear it and know that I at least very much appreciate his help. Anyway, God bless you, and I hope you're doing well. Well, I appreciate you sending that in. That makes a point. You know, when I'm in public, I'm generally a friendly guy. I don't go out my way for people, but I'm friendly when I engage in conversations. And if I'm walking into a building, and I'm going and I see somebody behind me, I'll hold the door and stuff like that, But I don't open doors and stand back and let people like women in. I wouldn't give up a seat on a bus or a subway for a woman. I would if it was an old lady or a pregnant woman because she's carrying a lot, or a mom with little kids. But if it was just your run-of-the-mill average gal, I'm not going to give up my seat on a bus or a subway. I'm not going to give up my seat at the bar. I'm not going to certainly do anything go above and beyond because I know what it's like, Does that mean that all are like that? No. But you act like a gentleman nowadays, you get basically treated like a BIT. And you encounter one of these iron woman hear me roar effinists and try to help them and you get treated like that? Yeah, no thanks. So again, it's a lot of these gals that make guys assholes. And it is what it is. And true, you can't judge a book by its cover, guys, because I've been surprised many times on multiple levels. As Vince Vaughn said in Four Christmases, haircuts don't lie. So if you see a gal and she's got that type of haircut, the odds are pretty good that she's an effeminist and probably don't like you too much. But I could be wrong. Anyhow, good story. Now, on to the main one, the update on our guy from a year and a half ago. He says here, hello SSM. This is John. I just wanted to give an update, and some of it is a bit funny to me. I'm still working for that energy company, and it is going great. I got promoted 5 times since then, and I'm making a few $1,000s away from 6 figures. Bro, that's awesome. And I want to point out, he told me in another letter he's living in South Dakota. So if he's making 6 figures, he's now in his mid-30s. If he's making darn close to $100,000 a year, and I get living in South Dakota, which has no income tax, and I'm assuming, obviously, a lower cost of living than a lot of other parts of the country, he's doing well. I am debt-free. No credit problems. No worries. I'm still living like I were making $15 an hour. I just redirect most of my money to my Roth 401k, Roth IRA, and various funds. Now my net worth is close to $120,000 since the last update. Bravo, amigo. You're doing great. You are making a comeback, my man. That is awesome. So you got the job with the energy company, and I know you're doing your side gig with the surveillance equipment and all that. That's how it should be. A man on a purpose. You messed up early in life, as we all can, but you learn from it. Also, I still have my hide the money ammo. I started a few hobbies, things like ham radio and IT management. The latter one I'm slowly converting into a business. Even though I'm a non-crime area, people feel better having them when their driveway is 200 to 500 yards long. I'm still in no contact with my family. They tried to reach out, but it failed for them. They even tried to take me, but the guy who came to my house realized that was a bad idea. Your freaking family hired somebody to come and take you? Something nap you? Fucking Colt. When he was getting ready to jump me, he did not expect to see me come out of my car in full deputy uniform and armed with my sidearm and an AR-15 on the sling. Yeah, that would probably slow him down. I did recognize him and told him to leave and never come back. He tried to talk to me into coming back to California and remarry my ex and come back to the cult, and I told him that he was trespassing and he did not take it seriously. So I radioed that into the dispatch, and another 2 deputies showed up under a minute. I live only 2 blocks away from the sheriff's office, so I was very quick. You think this moron would have done his homework as to how far local law enforcement are from the person he was going to physically take back to the cult. This is insane, man. Jesus, how stupid is that? You want to, if the cops are 2 blocks away, really? He was eventually arrested for trespassing after warning, and my cameras I had tested in the property helped out a lot in this. He spent 10 days in jail and car towed. Nothing else came of that. Well, you would think a lot more, but I guess there's nothing caught on camera like he was actually trying to take you. Fucking Colts. When it comes to the IT sphere, I do Wi-Fi and security installations on weekends for people who can afford it. Average system I do is between $3,000 to $20,000 just in parts alone, plus my labor fee. So I'm doing very well on this as well, with just 1 to 2 contracts per month. I started to employ some local teams for some things, with ditching trenches for fiber between buildings and starting teaching them IT basics. I'm happy with this, even if I make nothing after taxes and their pay, but this is my hobby in the first place after all. Okay, so it's not a booming business yet, and you're learning the ropes. But eventually, if you want to make it a business, you will, but you have to make a profit. But if this is experience to learn the ropes and all that, fair enough. Just make sure you do things right, legally, tax-wise, and all that. I do have one rule, though. Their parents have to tell me if one of them gets a grade C or lower on any subject. If so, they can't come to work for me, and I enforce it. They're working hard to keep their education going. They enjoy the work on my projects, even if it means climbing in a wet crawl spaces to run wires and fiber optic. Well, this is going to be the future for a lot of young men out there, because I read an article not too long ago about how a lot of trade jobs are going to have major vacancies in the next 10 to 15 years, because a lot of the guys that are doing it are now in their 50s and they're going to retire, and there's still the demand for all sorts of trades, from plumbers, electricians, HVAC, you name it, guys. Problem is, a massive amount of guys that would have continued on that work, they were being pushed to go to college. So there's going to be a lot of openings. So you're doing these young guys a service. If they don't work for you when you turn it into an actual business, they may go someplace else. Better than having a massive student loan debt for some degree. They ain't going to pay them a lot of money. All they want to do is Wi-Fi, CCTV, and off-grid solar installations. They crave that. Show me how, if it's done, instead of telling me. I think a few of them will go far from where their parents and grandparents are. I wish I had a mentor that I am to them, and I would not have made the mistakes that I did. I have a few of them sub to your channels. Well, thank you for spreading the word. So that's cool that you're mentoring young guys that need that, and you didn't have that. That's really good, man. I also unfortunately had to close my YouTube for good, since my relatives poisoned comments and contacts listed in deceptions. Now all I have is my Telegram chat and Discord for live streams and debates, but the community is slowly growing. I would have shared it, but I run it in Russian, lol. Okay. I also started a small self-supported group in mental and physical aid and getting out and staying out of debt. For now, it's 11 of us in it. Just having someone gassing each other up to help us get out of debt in the conversations, getting out of it faster. And when it comes to physical help, it's usually watching each other's kids and helping with rides and vehicle repairs so we can all get more money coming in. Well, cool, man. That's good. A little group to share experiences, help each other out and all that. I'm guessing you're also in a small town area, and things like this can happen in more small town community. What else? When it comes to women, they come and they go. Well, that's pretty much the nature of them. I don't give any of them any reason to think I'm interested in anything serious. I don't care if I sleep with their friends. Some of them tried causing issues. I just had to point to a bunch of cameras in my living room, and they deflate on the spot. It's priceless to watch them comprehend that they can't get away with anything with me. Yeah, after what happened with you, I can see why you have all the surveillance stuff around your property. By the way, I think it ended in the last one where he kind of had a small rotation of women. He was seeing some South Dakota babes that he was seeing and nothing more. After what he went through, he ain't getting married again. I now have multiple LLCs for different reasons. One for my IT business and a few for each vehicle. Volunteering, I discover how some people protect themselves in accidents. They have everything on separate LLCs. For example, each car is registered in a separate LLC and separate insurance policy. This way, if an accident happens, all they can take is the insurance policy for that one car and the car itself. Anything else is separate and not connected to the others to be claimed in courts. So I did the same. In the end, it only costs extra $300 a year for an LLC and insurance policy separation. Okay, man. There you go. Protect yourself. Beat the system. Now on to my ex, Julia. You mean Julia the Hutt. I recently got a call from a truck owner we drove for in the past. He said she called asking him for $9,000 to help her get her future husband out of the army abroad. What? So in the end, we both thought that she was getting scammed. Then maybe a week later, I got a text from a YouTube influencer we both know, and she said that my ex texted her and gave the same lines about trying to get her future husband from abroad, and now she needs $16,000 as a bribe to get him out of the army. This is a fucking scam. I told her to have fun with it, and it's a waste of time if she wanted to, but not to give her any money. So this makes me want to laugh even harder. Yeah, when your enemies are doing bad, it is pretty funny. And your ex-wife is definitely your enemy. Now, when it comes to Lola, she moved to North Florida, did some security work in the warehouse, then moved to California to rejoin the cult. It was sad to see, so I had to go no contact with her as well. I actually had to eventually block more than 50 people who were connected to the cult. So here is my 2.5 years after divorce update, and I'm enjoying what I do, and I hope you're doing well as well. Well, bro, I'm glad to hear from you. I like hearing from the guys that wrote in me years ago, seeing what they're doing. Sometimes when you guys write in, it's like, shit, what the fuck? I have to look back. I have to go back and I got to read old stories or watch old videos, which I did today. But I'm glad you're doing well, man. I really am. And see, guys, this is an example that you can make a lot of mistakes when you're young. A lot of times when guys don't know any better because they had bad mentors or no mentors, and you mess up, you can always turn your shit around, but you got to be willing to do that and make sacrifices and start over. And it goes to show you with some initiative and some sacrifices and a can-do attitude, you can do that. This guy's doing great, and in time I think he'll figure it out, and he'll turn that thing that he enjoys, the installation and security installation business, into an actual profitable business he can make a good living on, and watch it grow. And some of those young guys you're mentoring could be some of your first employees. I would recommend, before you really go official, if you know anybody that has run their own business for a little while, I would use them as a mentor to help give you advice on all different things to help you out. And you're a smart guy, you make effort, you'll figure it out. And as well as living cheap, putting away money, watching it grow, wonderful. Keep doing that. The old thing is, it's very important to get the first $100,000. And once you get the first $100,000 in your retirement account or brokerage and stuff like that, you can watch it just grow much quicker over time. It just takes a long time to get that $100,000. And I know a lot of you guys that enjoy finance and investing have probably heard that talk about getting the first $100,000. After a while, you can watch it grow and stuff like that. But anyhow, good for you, bro. So guys, if you're going through some shit, going through a hard time, you can turn it around. This guy did. And again, if you happen to stumble upon this and you didn't watch the first 2 videos that he did, or you forget, check him out. It's a good story. It's an interesting story, but a good one. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.